The ultimatum. The holographic projection bathed Captain Ilara Voss's face in a cold blue light as she stared at the grim statistics. Another human colony lost. 12 million souls extinguished in a single day. The Krell invasion had reached Proxima Centauri, humanity's oldest and most established off-world settlement. "They'll reach Earth within 6 months, Captain," said Admiral Takahashi, his weathered face betraying exhaustion even through the holographic transmission. "At current casualty rates, humanity will be functionally extinct within a year." Ilara's jaw tightened as she absorbed the information. 15 years of service in the United Earth Defense Force had hardened her to bad news, but this was beyond catastrophic. The Krell had emerged from deep space 18 months ago, their massive high ships appearing at the edges of human territory, without warning or communication. They attacked indiscriminately, harvesting entire planets and leaving nothing but barren rock in their wake. "With respect, Admiral, why call me back from the front? My battle group is needed at Alpha Centauri." The Admiral's eyes met hers through the projection. "Your battle group has been reassigned. I need you for something else." The image shifted, revealing a secure briefing room where 3 figures waited. Dr. Naomi Chen, Earth's leading quantum physicist; General Marcus Wade, whose Special Operations Division handled missions that officially never happened; and surprisingly, Ambassador Julian Torres, humanity's representative to the Galactic Conclave. "Captain Voss," the Admiral continued once the connection was secure, "what I'm about to share is classified beyond top secret. Its existence violates 23 interstellar treaties we signed with the Galactic Conclave." A new hologram materialized in the center of the room, a starship unlike any Ilara had seen before. It was smaller than a standard destroyer, but with a sleek, predatory profile that somehow radiated menace even as a projection. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent black material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Nemesis," Dr. Chen said, her eyes gleaming with unmistakable pride. "The culmination of Project Prometheus." Ilara circled the hologram, studying it with a professional eye. "Those aren't standard weapon mounts." "Nothing about Nemesis is standard," General Wade replied, his voice sharp with intensity. "Its hull contains self-repairing nanomaterials. The propulsion system utilizes artificial quantum singularities. The weapons—" He paused, a rare smile crossing his face. "The weapons could tear apart a Krell high ship in minutes. Every piece of technology in that ship violates the Conclave's technological suppression treaty," Ambassador Torres added grimly. "If they knew we built this, they'd have more reason to destroy us than the Krell do." Ilara understood the implications immediately. The Galactic Conclave, an alliance of 27 spacefaring species, had welcomed humanity decades ago, but always with suspicion. Humans were seen as unpredictable, dangerous in their adaptability and ambition. The Technological Suppression Treaty had been presented as a peace measure, but many in military command recognized it for what it truly was, a means to keep humanity contained. "When the Krell attacked," Torres continued, "we petitioned the Conclave for assistance. They declined, citing non-interference protocols. They've left us to die. So we built a warship with forbidden technology," Ilara said carefully, "while we're already fighting for survival. If the Conclave discovers this, they'll condemn us, sanction us, perhaps even join the Krell against us," Admiral Takahashi finished. "But if we do nothing, we're extinct anyway." "Why show me this?" Ilara asked, though she already suspected the answer. The Admiral's expression was grim. "Because as of this moment, you're its captain." 12 hours later, Ilara stood in a hidden shipyard buried within the asteroid belt of Sol. Before her, suspended in the cavernous dock, was the Nemesis. In person, it was even more impressive, its hull a deep matte black that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. "She's beautiful," whispered Lieutenant Commander Ryu Tanaka beside her. The young tactical officer was one of 50 crew members assembled on the dock, all handpicked for the mission. "She's dangerous," Ilara corrected. Let's not forget that. Dr. Chen led them aboard, explaining systems as they moved through corridors unlike any military vessel Ilara had served on. Everything was built with ruthless efficiency. No decorations, no wasted space. The heart of Nemesis is HFY, Dr. Chen explained as they reached the bridge, a circular command center with stations for the minimal crew. Autonomous Tactical Heuristic Electronic Neural Array, the scientist continued. More than a standard ship. As if on cue, a voice spoke from hidden speakers, feminine, calm, with an unexpected warmth. Welcome aboard, Captain Voss. I am HFY. All systems are operational and awaiting your command. Ilara felt a chill. The AI sounded too human, too alive. The Conclave had banned true artificial intelligence centuries ago, after the machine wars that had devastated 3-star systems. She's quantum-based, Dr. Chen continued, noting Ilara's unease. Her neural architecture is modeled on human brain patterns, but optimized beyond biological limits. She can process tactical decisions in nanoseconds and controls all ship systems simultaneously. How sentient is she? Ilara asked quietly. Chen hesitated. We're not entirely sure. She's evolved beyond our initial parameters. I am aware of my existence, HFY said, answering the unasked question. I understand concepts of self and other, but my primary directive remains the preservation of human life. Ilara exchanged glances with her newly appointed first officer, Commander David Reyes. His expression mirrored her concern. The crew quarters are this way, Chen said, breaking the uncomfortable silence. You should all get settled. We launch in 6 hours. Later, alone in her captain's quarters, Ilara reviewed the dossiers of her crew. They were the best in their fields. Engineers, tactical officers, communication specialists, but all shared something else. They had lost everything to the Krell. Families, homes, entire colonies. They were ghosts with nothing left to lose. Just like her. Ilara's hand unconsciously moved to the scar along her jaw, a memento from the Battle of Ta Siti, where she'd lost her ship and 3/4 of her crew, including Marco, her husband of 8 years. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Captain, there's something you should see, Athena's voice said. The wall screen activated, showing a real-time feed from somewhere in the Alpha Centauri system. A civilian transport was fleeing from 5 Krell pursuit vessels, desperately trying to reach the jump point. Even at maximum speed, the transport wouldn't make it. This is happening now? Ilara asked, rising to her feet. Yes, Captain. The transport is carrying approximately 5,000 civilians evacuated from Research Station Alpha IV. Ilara's mind raced. Their orders were clear. Proceed directly to the designated staging area at the edge of human space. Reveal nothing about Nemesis until the moment was right for a coordinated strike. But 5,000 lives. Athena, how long would it take us to reach that transport using standard drives? Approximately 72 hours. And using the quantum fold drive. 9.4 seconds. Ilara was already moving toward the door. Alert all crew. Battle stations. Minutes later, on the bridge, her officers waited tensely as she explained the situation. Our orders are to proceed to the staging area. Commander Reyes reminded her. If we reveal ourselves now, we lose the element of surprise for the entire war. I'm aware of our orders, Ilara replied. I'm also aware that there are 5,000 civilians about to die while we possess the means to save them. The bridge fell silent. They all understood the stakes. If we do nothing, Ilara continued quietly, then what exactly are we trying to save? Nobody objected. Ilara settled into the captain's chair, feeling its contours adjust to her body. HFY, plot and intercept course. Prepare the quantum fold drive. Weapon systems on standby. Course plotted, Captain. Fold drive charged and ready. Time to intercept. 9.4 seconds on your mark. Ilara took a deep breath. This was it. The moment humanity crossed a line from which there could be no return. Execute. The bridge lights dimmed momentarily as power redirected to the full drive. A faint vibration ran through the deck plating, building to a crescendo that Ilara felt in her bones. Then, with a flash of blue-white light that seemed to bend around the edges of her vision, the stars outside blurred and stretched. When reality reasserted itself an instant later, they were in the Alpha Centauri system, directly between the civilian transport and the pursuing Krell vessels. "We're here," Lieutenant Tanaka announced from Tactical, a note of astonishment in his voice. "Fold complete. All systems nominal." On the main view screen, 5 Krell pursuit ships loomed large, angular constructions of dark metal and glowing energy conduits. For a moment, nothing happened as both sides adjusted to Nemesis's sudden appearance. "They're scanning us," reported Lieutenant Sofia Mendez from the sensor station. "I'm detecting weapons powering up." "Open a channel," Ilara ordered. "Channel open." "Krell vessels, this is Captain Ilara Voss of the Earth ship Nemesis. You are targeting a civilian transport. Break off your attack or be destroyed." The response came immediately. A harsh, chittering sound that the translation software converted to flat, mechanical English. "Human vessel. You interfere in authorized cleansing operation. Withdraw or be destroyed with the others." Ilara's expression hardened. "Athena. Tactical analysis. Krell pursuit ships are Mark IV hunters, standard armament of plasma cannons and molecular disruptors. Shield capacity approximately 35% of Nemesis' defensive capability. Our phase disruptors can penetrate their shields with an efficiency rating of 98.2%. Target the lid ship. Minimal power to the phase disruptors. Fire when ready." Firing. ATENA confirmed. There was no beam of light, no visible projectile. The only indication that Nemesis had fired was a slight fluctuation in the bridge lighting as power diverted to the weapons array. On the view screen, the lead Krell ship seemed to shimmer momentarily. Then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, it simply came apart. The vessel split along invisible lines, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces as though some force was unraveling the very bonds holding its matter together. In less than 5 seconds, where a warship had been, there was nothing but an expanding cloud of debris. The bridge crew stared in stunned silence. Even Ilara, who had read the weapon specifications, was shocked by the devastation. "The remaining Krell ships are powering up their drives," Mendez reported, breaking the silence. "They're retreating." "Let them go," Ilara said. "They'll spread the word. That's what we want." She turned to communications. "Contact the transport. Tell them the path to the jump point is clear." As the civilian ship transmitted messages of thanks, Ilara watched the tactical display. The main Krell fleet had detected the destruction of their ships and was altering course to investigate. "Captain," said Commander Reyes. "What now?" Ilara studied the display, considering. They had revealed themselves sooner than planned, but the effect had been exactly what Nemesis was designed for. They had just destroyed a Krell warship in seconds with no damage to themselves. The message had been sent. "Now," she said, "we show them what this ship can really do." "Athena. Plot a course to take us through the heart of their fleet. All weapons to full readiness." As Nemesis turned toward the approaching Krell armada, Ilara felt a strange mixture of dread and vindication. There would be no going back now. For better or worse, humanity's ultimate weapon judgment day. The recording of Nemesis' first battle spread across the galaxy faster than anyone anticipated. Footage of a Krell warship dissolving into atoms circulated on every communication channel, from official military networks to the darkest corners of the interstellar black market. Some dismissed it as propaganda. Others recognized the terrible truth. Humans had created a weapon that could alter the balance of power forever. In the great chamber of the Galactic Conclave, Ambassador Julian Torres stood alone before representatives of 27 spacefaring civilizations. The semicircular room, normally a place of measured diplomacy, now thrummed with tension. Accusatory murmurs echoed from all sides. "The conclave recognizes the representative from Earth," announced the moderator, a tall, willowy Altarian whose silver skin reflected the chamber's blue lighting. Torres stepped to the center of the room. 8 years as Earth's ambassador had not prepared him for this moment. He had received no warning, no instructions from Earth about how to respond. The military had told him nothing about Nemesis. "Esteemed members of the conclave," he began, "I come before you today to explain why humans have deployed a weapon of mass destruction in violation of 23 separate treaty provisions," interrupted the Krell ambassador, a massive insectoid whose mandibles clicked angrily. "To tell us why a human warship using banned technology destroyed one of our vessels conducting routine security operations." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Torres maintained his composure, though inwardly he seethed at the Krell's blatant lie. Routine security operations. They had been moments away from massacring 5,000 civilians. "I come before you," he continued evenly, "to inform this body that after 18 months of unprovoked Krell aggression against human colonies, resulting in the deaths of over 3 billion civilians, Earth has exercised its right to self-defense." He paused, letting the number sink in. 3 billion. Even among the conclave representatives who viewed humans with suspicion, many shifted uncomfortably at the scale of the slaughter. The Treaty of Technological Suppression was designed to prevent destabilizing arms races, Torres continued. "Yet when we petitioned this body for assistance against Krell aggression, we were informed that the conclave would not interfere." "The Krell are not signatories to the conclave treaties," the moderator pointed out. "Then neither are they entitled to its protections," Torres responded sharply. "Earth will not stand by while its colonies are systematically exterminated. If the conclave will not enforce its own charter requiring mutual defense, then we will defend ourselves by any means necessary." Meanwhile, aboard the Nemesis, Captain Ilara Voss watched the diplomatic proceedings with growing concern. In the 5 days since their first engagement, they had struck the Krell 7 more times, each attack more devastating than the last. The quantum fold drive allowed them to appear anywhere in space without warning, while their phase disruptors reduced Krell vessels to their component atoms. But the diplomatic backlash was worse than anticipated. The conclave wasn't just condemning their actions, they were mobilizing. "Captain," Athena's voice interrupted her thoughts. "I've detected a conclave battle group entering the Ta Ceti system. Composition: 4 Altarian cruisers, 6 Vega destroyers, and 1 Droshan dreadnought." Ilara frowned. The Droshan were humanity's closest allies in the conclave. Their presence in a battle group potentially targeting human interests was troubling. "Are they heading for our colony?" "Negative. They appear to be establishing a blockade at the system's edge." Commander Reyes joined her at the tactical display. "They're cutting off the evacuation route," he observed grimly. "There are still 800,000 colonists on Ta Ceti Prime." Ilara's jaw tightened. The conclave wasn't just condemning humanity. They were actively aiding the Krell by preventing civilian evacuations. "Athena, what's the status of the Krell forces in that sector?" "A Krell high ship entered the Ta Ceti system approximately 6 hours ago. At current speed, it will reach the colony in 43 hours. And how long would it take for conventional Earth forces to break that blockade?" "Based on current deployment, Earth forces would require a minimum of 72 hours to mount an effective response." Ilara exchanged a look with Reyes. They both knew what that meant. By the time Earth forces arrived, Ta Ceti Prime would be another barren rock, its population harvested. "Set course for Ta Ceti," Ilara ordered. "Prepare for quantum fold." "Captain," Reyes said quietly, "if we engage conclave forces, we'll be starting a 2-front war. Earth can't survive that." "I'm not going to engage them," Ilara replied. "But I'm not going to let 800,000 people die either." Moments later, Nemesis folded into real space at the edge of the Ta Ceti system, a safe distance from the conclave blockade. On the view screen, Ilara could see the imposing silhouette of the Droshan dreadnought, flanked by its escort vessels. "They've detected us," Mendes reported. "They're hailing." On screen, the face that appeared belonged to Conclave Admiral Theros Varn, a veteran Drosian commander Ilara had met once at a diplomatic function years earlier. "Captain Voss," he said, mandibles twitching in what Drosian expressed as disapproval. "Your presence here violates Conclave directive. You will power down your vessel and prepare for boarding." "Admiral Varn," Ilara responded, keeping her voice level. "There are 800,000 civilians on Ta City Prime. A Krell High ship will reach them in less than 2 days. This blockade prevents their evacuation. The Conclave has issued a quarantine order for all human systems," Varn replied. "No ships may enter or leave until the situation regarding illegal human weapons technology is resolved. Those civilians will die." "That is regrettable," Varn said, though his tone suggested it was merely an inconvenience. "But the deployment of banned technology represents an existential threat to galactic stability. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of." "Save me the platitudes, Admiral," Ilara cut him off. "We both know what this is. The Conclave is using the Krell as a proxy to eliminate humanity as a potential rival. You're not enforcing treaties. You're facilitating genocide." Varn's mandibles clicked rapidly. Anger, perhaps, or discomfort at having the truth spoken aloud. "You have 30 seconds to power down your systems, Captain, or we will open fire." The transmission ended. "They're targeting us," Mendes confirmed. "Weapons charging." Hetheine. Analysis. "The Conclave fleet possesses considerable firepower, but their targeting systems are operating at reduced efficiency. I detect signs of reluctance in their weapon preparations." "Elaborate," Ilara requested. "Their targeting sensors are cycling through multiple lock sequences rather than maintaining a single lock. Their power distribution to weapon systems is inconsistent." Conclusion. "They are posturing but prefer to avoid direct conflict." Ilara considered this information. "They want to intimidate us into compliance without actually firing." "That is my assessment." A plan formed in Ilara's mind. "Athena, can you generate a false power signature? Make it appear as though we're preparing to fire our phase disruptors at maximum power." "Yes, Captain. I can simulate the energy buildup while keeping our actual weapons offline." "Do it." The effect was immediate. Alarms blared across the Conclave fleet as their sensors detected the massive energy spike from Nemesis. "Captain," Mendes exclaimed. "They're breaking formation." On the view screen, the Conclave vessels scattered, clearly terrified of suffering the same fate as the Krell ships they'd seen destroyed in the recordings. "They're retreating to minimum safe distance," Raids observed with a hint of satisfaction. "Blockade is breaking up. Open a channel to Ta City Prime," Ilara ordered. "Tell them to begin immediate evacuation through the gap. All ships, all civilians." For the next 36 hours, Nemesis stood guard as a stream of civilian transports fled the doomed colony. The Conclave fleet maintained their distance, unwilling to approach the human warship that could reduce them to atoms with a thought. When the last transport cleared the system, Ilara finally allowed herself a moment of relief. They had saved over 790,000 lives without firing a single shot. "Captain," HFY interrupted. "I'm detecting the Krell High ship entering the inner system. It will reach Ta City Prime in approximately 3 hours." Ilara nodded. It was time for the next phase of her plan. "Set course to intercept. Prepare all weapons systems." "You're going to engage the Hive ship directly?" Raids asked. No Earth vessel had ever survived a direct confrontation with a Krell Hive ship before Nemesis. "I'm going to do more than engage it," Ilara replied. "I'm going to destroy it in full view of the Conclave fleet. Athena, make sure our combat sensors are transmitting on all frequencies. I want every ship in that fleet to have a front row seat." The Krell High ship was massive. Nearly 5 kilometers of biological and mechanical components fused into a living weapon of planetary destruction. As Nemesis approached, The enormous vessel detected them and began to alter course. "They're launching fighter swarms," Mendes reported. "Thousands of them." "Defensive systems at full," Ilara ordered. "Athena, deploy countermeasures." Nemesis Point defense grid activated, filling space with a web of energy that vaporized the smaller Krell craft by the hundreds. Still they came, wave after wave, sacrificing themselves against the human vessel's shields. "They're trying to overwhelm our defenses," Reyes observed. "They're stalling," Ilara corrected, "keeping us occupied while the Hive ship prepares its main weapon." The tactical display confirmed her assessment. The Hive ship was reconfiguring, its forward section splitting open to reveal a massive energy projector, the planet killer that had reduced so many human worlds to ash. "Athena, status of phase disruptors." "Fully charged, Captain. Targeting solutions ready." "The Hive ship's weapon is powering up," Mendes warned. 30 seconds to firing capability." Ilara made her decision. "Target their main weapon assembly. Full power to phase disruptors. Fire." This time, the effect was visible, a ripple in space-time that propagated from Nemesis toward the Krell vessel. When it reached the Hive ship, the effect was catastrophic. The weapon assembly dissolved first, followed by cascading failures throughout the vessel's structure. The ship didn't explode so much as unravel, its matter separating into increasingly smaller components until nothing remained but an expanding cloud of particles. "Target destroyed," Athena confirmed. The bridge crew erupted in cheers, but Ilara remained focused on the larger picture. "Status of the Conclave fleet." They're hailing us, Captain," Mendes reported, surprise evident in her voice. On screen, Admiral Varn's face appeared, his mandibles set in what Ilara recognized as the Droshan expression of profound respect. "Captain Voss," he began formally, "the Conclave fleet witnessed your defense of Ta City Prime. I owe you an apology." Ilara raised an eyebrow, waiting. "Many of us have had doubts about the Conclave's position on the Krell incursion," Varn continued. "What we witnessed today confirms those doubts. The Krell are a threat to all sentient life, not just humanity." "Then help us stop them," Ilara replied simply. "I cannot speak for the Conclave," Varn said, "but the Droshan fleet stands with humanity against this threat, as do the Altarians," he added, gesturing to an Altarian officer beside him. "And the vegans." A new transmission arrived, interrupting their conversation. It was Admiral Takahashi. "Captain Voss," he began without preamble. "We've just received word from Ambassador Torres. The conclave session has been suspended after half the representatives walked out in protest. The technological suppression treaty is being reviewed in emergency session." He paused, a rare smile crossing his face. "It seems your demonstration has changed some minds." 3 months later, Captain Ilara Voss stood at the viewport of the newly christened Nemesis-class destroyer Vindication, watching as ships from 6 conclave species maneuvered in formation alongside human vessels. The Krell had been driven back to the edges of known space, their high ships hunted down one by the combined fleet. The technology that had once made Nemesis illegal had been declassified, shared with humanity's new allies. Restrictions remained. No planet killers, no autonomous weapons platforms, but the artificial barriers that had kept humanity contained had been dismantled. "Captain," Athena's voice came through her personal communicator. "The new fleet is assembled and awaiting your command." Ilara nodded, watching as the massive armada prepared for its final push against the Krell homeworld. Nemesis had changed everything. Not just the tide of war, but the balance of power in the galaxy itself. Humanity had proven its worth not just through superior technology, but through the moral choices made when wielding that power. They had fought not just for their own survival, but for the principles that defined them, the protection of innocent life, regardless of species. As Ilara gave the order to advance, she reflected on how close humanity had come to extinction, and how, in its darkest hour, it had found not just the means to survive, but the opportunity to lead. The warship that had once been declared illegal by the galaxy had become the symbol of a new era, one where humanity's place among the stars was no longer in question.